For more on Apple's earnings and its new mobile payment plan, Apple Pay, we are joined by Scott Schober. He's the CEO of Berkeley Varitronics Systems, which specializes in wireless technology as well as cybersecurity. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having me on, Karina.
Let's talk about with Apple. Let's start with the earnings.
Yeah.
Everything looks pretty good except the iPad sales, which were down 13%.
Yes.
Is that worrisome for Apple?
No, not at all. In fact, they've got newer models, even lower cost, especially with the holiday season. It's just going to take off from there. Really, the heart of their sales is clearly iPhone 6, iPhone 6 Plus, hot technology. It's a premium brand, and as you can see from the results there, $42.1 billion for the quarter. That's pretty impressive with, 38% gross margins. They did really well. One of their best quarters.
Okay,
yeah,
and Apple has said for a while that
Absolutely.
China is very important to its growth. Now, sales were up for the iPhone. That is 32% in the quarter. Is that a good number?
Yeah, it's a good number. Think about it this way. 60% of the revenue that Apple generates is really international business. It's pretty impressive. And China is just about to explode. And they're paying a premium for some of these iPhone models there. There's a lot of growth, a lot of people waiting in line, so there's a lot of big numbers to come.
Nevertheless, a lot of competition.
A lot of competition, too.
Do you think they're going to be able to convince consumers in China to pick their phone over Samsung's and others?
I think absolutely. They're certainly not going after the low-end market. There's a lot of competition there, and they're just staying away from that. They're avoiding it. They're going for a high profit margin, and they're smart, too. They're focusing on the upgrades. When you upgrade in the memory, that gives them a lot of profit. And you upgrade in a phone from a 6 to a 6 Plus, it's, I think, a $16 incremental charge, and they put an extra $170 profit in their pocket from that model move. That's a significant amount of profit. Now you go to China, and now you do that across the masses, tremendous amount of profitability.
All right, speaking of cash, Apple has a lot of it, about $147 billion right now, and some investors like Carl Icahn, who's a majority investor, would like to see more of that money given back to shareholders in the form of buybacks. How likely is it that Apple's going to do that, and why does it have so much cash on its hands right now?
Well, certainly they'll continue to do it. I think they've acquiesced somewhat. Tim Cook has said, okay, we'll do it. Steve Jobs in the past never really wanted to do that. He didn't buy into the stock formula in the market. But Tim Cook is smart, and he's been doing it progressively. I don't think he'll do it to the extent that Carl Icahn wants. But instead, I think what they'll probably do with all this cash is focus on strategic acquisitions. They really haven't been that effective with large ones other than maybe Beats. I think they've done a good job there. It was about a $3 billion acquisition. Very smart move. It aligns nicely to the streaming service and certainly the headphones. They're going to do well there when we see what comes in the not-too-distant future. So they're going to look for these very narrow niche strategic acquisitions. They'll place it there. They got another problem, though. Most of their capital is really in offshore, in Ireland and other countries. Tax issues. They haven't paid the taxes. Bring that back here domestically to the U.S. They're going to pay probably 35% to the IRS. They don't want to do that.
No, none of them want to do that.
They want to be careful there.
All right, well, let's talk quickly about Apple Pay. This is their digital wallet. It's not the first one to come out. We've seen others. The analyst that we had in the piece earlier said that the timing is perfect. Do you agree? And what has been different about their rollout than, say, the Google Wallet?
Yeah, excellent question. Google did a great job with Google Wallet. It was probably an early adopter. They were getting the kinks out, didn't get widespread adoption because really a lot of different mobile phone manufacturers, they have to wait for to adopt this, to integrate the antenna, load the software, all these other things. So the market's a little bit difficult there. Apple, on the other hand, is not a software-only company such as Google, so they're a hardware play. And they also have great software in addition. So they control the phone. They could put the near-field communication antenna into every one of these iPhones, the newer iPads, and of course they've got a huge base of iTunes customers, 800 million customers that already they have the credit card for. They're going to migrate naturally over to the iPhone 6 and iPhone 6 Plus for these purchases, and that's going to give them a huge lion's share. Plus they did their homework. They've already aligned with 500 plus banks. They've got 220,000 plus retailers already set up and ready to go. So you could walk into a lot of these retail locations and take out your new iPhone and you can purchase right there.
Okay, but one of the selling points right now with Apple Pay is they're saying that they are more secure than using a credit card. But we're going to have this system coming in that they have in Europe called chip and pin, which will be rolled out in the U.S., which is supposed to be more secure than what we know here as is. So is that going to hurt Apple's business or help it?
No, it's actually going to do the converse, I believe. Since all these retailers are now spending money post Target breach, Home Depot breach, they're spending money now upgrading the POS, point of sale systems, the terminals for this newer chip and pin technology, which is simply an embedded microprocessor in your credit card. when you put it into the machine, you swipe it, you have to also add in a PIN number. Well, that's going to help Apple because it also has the near-field communication technology integrated in there. So now all of a sudden everybody's got the hardware updates. It's a natural for Apple.
Okay, Scott, lastly, you tried it today.
Yes, I did.
What was your experience like?
It actually was very simple to use. Tried it at McDonald's, simple purchase, brought it up there. You put your finger on the Touch ID, which is really a benefit that Apple has. Instantly purchased, done, simple. Tried it at Petco, didn't work. They didn't have the software kinks out yet, but that's coming forward. So retailers have to upgrade.
So you're bullish on it?
Absolutely.
All right, thank you so much. That was Scott Schober.
Karina.
He's the CEO of Berkeley Varitronics Systems.